Are you looking for more brick-based podcasts to fill up your playlist? Then check out Brick Trains, as he hosts a podcast with his friends Mardi Gras Man and the one and only Jaabo to find out if you are a fan of old Lego. This was not a paid advertisement for the Cali Brick Clique, but I want to say it's not old. It's vintage, baby.
I got to start reading the fan fiction for my channel, so I know the direction to go with.
Dresser upon dresser.
I still think I'm going to find the third child we forgot about.
Yeah, probably.
All right, so Ninja in 5, 4, 3, 2.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Cali Brick Clique. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome 2022 so far, right?
It's been 3 days. Yeah.
Exactly. Mine's been
2 days?
I've worked 1 day this year.
Dang, see?
Whacking.
We're throwing them off because this is coming out later, too. There's like, wait, what?
Hopefully, I'll still have only worked 1 day by then.
Nice.
I actually felt productive. See, on my chat, and I mentioned it in the chat on Claire's mockumentary today, but like, I said, happy Monday, everyone. And then I was ignored.
Yeah, nobody's ever happy to come back to work after being gone over time period. Like people are always like, it's probably like the grumpiest times to ever go back.
Right?
Work.
I'm not ready.
My recollection of the normal 9 to 5 stuff. But congratulations on making it back to work, Shy, and being peppy.
I was so mad.
I'm glad you're the peppy guy at work.
It's good to be happy on Monday.
Yeah, well, it's a new year. You know, we made our goal for the fiscal year. And then I write the post. It was only 9 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I saw 9 people saw my message. No one said anything.
Dang, left you on red.
I was like, damn, rude. That's so rude.
Yeah, you know, hopefully everyone else is having a good Monday still, right? No?
Is today Monday?
Right?
Yeah.
So we're filming this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only 1 day of work, right? Today. Yeah. Well, remember, you can catch all episodes and previous episodes on Spotify. I caught you, Ninja. Even last week's live stream, which was really fun. It was a good way to wrap up the year. I don't know if you enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fun.
Oh, yeah. Celebration, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was nice. It was very last minute. So, to those that were able to join us, thank you for doing that. Maybe we'll try to make it an annual thing if that happens.
And just don't do it when Georgia's playing football.
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. Speaking of that, we do have a special guest in case you haven't noticed.
Who?
Just in case anyone hasn't been paying attention, like me.
Completely abolished our first episode for the year.
Hey, we got to bring it in hot, right?
I'm just glad I could bring the level of quality of my videos to your channel.
No.
The Cali Brick Clique.
No.
Nice.
I think, something that we have in common. Well, so hold on a second. Is BrickTsar 2021 is that good? Is that what we're expecting moving forward? Because I feel like that was like a project within itself. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Ooh, good.
Great observation. So the only pressure I felt in 2021 was making a video every day.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to have that level of commitment. That being said, I've missed 1 day this year already, but it was intentional. I filmed a video on the first. I just didn't publish a video on the first. So I don't want to have that pressure, but I also don't want people to think that I'm not going to be publishing regularly. So I've never had a schedule. I tried to stick to a set upload time. I did it for a few months last year, and then it got hard to keep it up. I don't know how people do it to be consistent. I just do the best I can. So 2022, I don't think you'll see a different style of video. It's just that I guess you'll have to be subscribed to know if I'm going to publish the next day.
Nice.
We are. I'm subscribed to all of your channels. I don't follow train stuff.
That's okay.
But I've got that. I hit that subscribe. But I just think it's really interesting because you still work full time, and I know you're counting down until retirement, but I tried to nowhere near had the same kind of dedication as you did, and I couldn't keep with the schedule. It was the combination of starting to actually work again, and then also mostly getting just sick for like a few weeks, like having, like the flu. Luckily it wasn't anything else, but it still like knocked me out for a while. And like, you forget like how much of a hit that takes. And if it's like not your full-time job and it's like still like in a hobby thing, it's really hard to like motivate yourself like back into it. And anyway, I just commend you for a year of videos. That must have been, I think it's a lot harder than people realize, even if it's like not like highly edited stuff, whatever, just still sitting in front or whatever, still it's hard.
What are you trying to say? My videos aren't highly edited?
No, I mean, this is more of an objective observation, not subjective.
It's no matter how simple you or how streamlined you have your operation to do anything daily, it can be taxing on your mental health, your physical health, your relationships, and all that. So that's why you're not going to see Casey Neistat level of editing from me. It's basically I'm film segments and splice them together and hope the audio is good because I didn't check it.
That is a very specific strategy, which I commend you for. I mean, like, honestly, like, I don't think we do much more than that, to be fair. Sorry, I'm going to throw you under the bus, but like, but like, what do we do too much more? I don't feel like I do much more past that.
You add music.
There you go. But you've complained, you don't like, I've heard you say in your videos that you don't like music. So that's not always a good thing.
It has its place, and I guess I shouldn't say you don't have music, but I've made so many for me personally, I've made so many mistakes with music from mainly like the level be too loud and then it drowns out what you're trying to say, or it starts off right and then it gets loud, or
like something happens in the export that it's like not how you initially heard it. Like that's what keeps happening to me, and I'm just like, I hate this. This is annoying. And it's like the nuances that you put in to like get the levels and stuff like get all messed up and stuff. But like, I don't know. I think what you're doing is worth it. But I do remember you did say in a video at the end of last year that you wanted to do like videos that took a little bit more work. You said that. So,
and I did. So okay, so you're right. So if you watch the progression of the videos, they got lazier as the year went on because I wanted to include those different elements in the video, whether it be responding to the I love responding to the comments, but I'm like the simple thing. Look at just for instance, M&R Productions, Ryan. He does his weekly Q&A section. He always has the comment in the video. Like I was trying to do that. Just one comment in the video. And I just get like, so I'll just read it. I'm not going to even that level of just, all you're doing is cutting and pasting and putting it there. And then I got to where I wasn't even doing them. And I could even be thinking of a comment and not talk about it. So all the different, and I want to do a set review in each video, that kind of. So it took a lot more work, and because it is work, things fall by the wayside. You don't do them. So
I'm not trying to like harp on you. It's just more like what does that? I'm mostly excited. It's just like, okay, so what does that mean? Like, what are we? So does it mean like we're gonna see like a video where you do the things that you love, which is like recognizing your community and like showing some of like your recent stuff that you bought, and also like doing like a review and like showing like growth of the army or whatever it is that you're doing. Is it just gonna be like as though you took like a few of your like 3 or 4 of your videos from like and put them into one? Is that what you were thinking?
Okay, so initially this year I was thinking, more. I don't want to say. I hate the word vlog. It's fine.
I know. It's a very weird word, and it's like kind of like all encompassing, but also very unspecific at the same time. Yeah.
So I thought about, okay, if I didn't do a lot interesting today, like I just cleaned up this one box, I filmed that, and then at the end of the week or the end of a day or 2 or 4 or whatever, just make that one video instead of 4 or 5 videos or something.
Okay. I think that's fair. I'm really excited. I love today's video or whatever, the one that went up today that you filmed, I think on the 1st, because it was like, we've talked about this before, but like your basement is like vast and interesting. And it's like, for me, it's like kind of like a weird, foresight into my future of like collecting over like a certain amount of time.
Oh.
And it's like watching
it's inevitable.
It's inevitable. And like, I know it's going to happen. And you're just like, you inherently, like, no matter how big your space is, you're always going to run out of space. And so you always need to stay on top of it. And then I'm like watching you go through your instructions. And I have my instructions in kind of a similar way. And you're like, oh, I need to do this, this, and this. And it's like, so I'm like, okay, I should start organizing them by theme now, because there's going to come a point, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I should do that now.
You don't.
So the 25-year-old Jaabo is a lot different than the 53-year-old Jaabo. I actually got, I'm not being critical of a comment. I got called out in a comment in the video today because the guy was like, how can you not know what you have? I'm like, well, he said, don't you have it written down or an inventory? And I'm like, at a certain point, you make a couple of mistakes here or there, it's hard to keep track of it. Yeah. And I've been doing this for a long time. And when I was single and working 2 jobs, I could tell you what sets I had.
Yeah.
My comic book collection, which was massive for the time, everything was in alphabetical order.
Nice.
So there was it's easier to keep order when you start, but if you do anything that messes that up, and I'll tell you the biggest thing that messed me up, well, there's 2 big things that messed me up with my collection. One is moving.
Yeah.
Things get in such disarray when you move. And the other thing is trying to sell on eBay and the items don't sell. Because you pull the items out to sell them, they don't sell. You got to put them back. But you're like, well, I might sell this. I'm trying to try it again.
Too far back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I sold a bunch of stuff on eBay very recently, and I sold like a bunch of promos and stuff, and I haven't yet. I feel like I should do a few things. I feel like I should, and I haven't done this. I feel like I should go back to my brick set and remove them from my brick set. I
just thought of that today.
One. Okay. I feel like I should go and like open up a new Excel file and like basically have a file that's like just Lego sales, eBay 20. This was like in 2021, and just like list them. It was just like 10 things, and like those should be there, and that's it. And they're like saved, and that's its own file. And then I do a new tab for the next year or whatever, and then that's it. And then I'm done. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm done. And then I would do that continuously. But I feel like if I don't do it now, it's never gonna get done.
Yeah. And I was doing good earlier in 2021. Like when stuff would come in, I would put it on Brikx. So that I would, but then I got to where I was putting it on Brikx, but I wouldn't put in the location.
Oh, like in your basement.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, that's true. We have like 4 or 5 different areas of where stuff is, but like, yeah, like luckily, so I had to find the Sanctum Sanctorum last night, and I have, it was in like one of 8 places. Luckily, the first place I went, it was there.
So in the video, I think it was the video that was published today, we found the Lego Loco box. So I was looking for that like a year ago. We got them on the shelf right over here. And my son, he's collecting the Lego games. And I was like, I know I got the box. I don't know where it is. So I'm going through all those boxes looking for all the Chima sets. I found it. And that's the other point of that question earlier was like, why don't you look at where you got them on Brikx and just go to those locations? But it was easier. It literally was easier just to go systematically through the boxes and just pull them out. And now the question, like you just asked earlier, I'm going to get rid of those. I'm going to part them out probably. Do I go back, take the time to go on the Brikx and erase them?
Yeah, like do you? Because you have to though, because otherwise. But it depends though. Like when you say part out, and like it depends how you manage your brick set. Like. For us, like if we part a set out into our parts collection, because we don't sell our parts collection, we still keep it on Brikx set.
Brikx not an official record, so you can do whatever you want to it.
Right. But it's also like, how do you interpret that? It's like, I still think I have that set, even though that set is in my thing. You know, some people don't think that, you know, which is fine.
And that's the way I used to view, like when I had all the castle sets, I had them built, and then when I had to move them, I took them apart. I just put them all in the same. I didn't separate them by set. I just put all the pieces in one box.
Yeah.
And I didn't worry, but I knew I still had those sets, and I could rebuild them.
Right, and you always counted them. It's not like you're like, oh no, well I need to, you know, go and rebuy all these things. But I think what gets really complicated though is like I keep thinking this. I'm like, okay, well, what if I like use one of those pieces that's like special, like or like exclusive to that set, and then I use that in a mock and I forget about it.
Yeah, or the pieces just migrate. I have all the modulars except for the one that just came out, and
like you've bought them all on shelf in store.
Yes, I bought them new, and it's like every single time I've rebuilt them. This would be like the second or third time I've built them because I just like building them. But I'm always like, where do these parts go? Where do the minifigures go?
Yeah.
I have no recollection of where they are. I remember when I was rebuilding the Market Street. I ended up going and buying. This was before they got real expensive, but I went and bought all the minifigures again.
Just because.
So now I got 2 sets of them. I know I have 2 sets of the minifigure. I just don't know where they all are.
Yeah, I mean, like in retrospect, that was still a smart thing to do because they've still increased in value. Now you have 2 sets of those, which is like still interesting.
But the minifigures though, aren't they like just normal minifigures?
No, they have exclusive like.
It'll be one part that's
like the torso or something like that. Yeah.
Is it important to you to keep the sets together like that? For example, myself, like I used to, so the city behind me, like I used to keep the minifigures that the modulars came with. Like I would keep them close by, like inside the building or around. But after a certain point, like when you start maneuvering through a city or when you start creating creations around it, like when do you stop? Like when do you let go of that?
When your kids move them.
There you go.
Yeah, but we've moved stuff and like we don't have kids yet, and so but like and we've moved stuff still, like it does, you know what I mean? Things just like happen, and it doesn't really bother me. The only thing it's like it's when you're really when one of your favorite things about the hobby is the collecting of it all, and you want to go back and like put them all together, or like like let's say for some reason that's you're like, I want to have in a minifig display case all of the modular minifigs, or I want, some things, people get really specific with their like complete collections of stuff. And they kind of like, and I'm even in that category, you kind of like, it's fun to kind of make up almost like categorizations of different collections, you're like I know Tech from Tech Productions, he like really, the actor who plays Professor Flitwick in Harry Potter, I can't remember his name, but he's also the same actor in Star Wars or whatever. He's basically the actor that has the most minifigures ever made of him. And so he wants to have a collection of all of his minifigures, right? Or it's like, anyway, but that's like a very kind of like niche way to categorize something. And so if you want to go back, and like Sans loves to do that, and so do I. And so it's like, if you want to go back and find that figure, how do you go back and find it? I don't know. I have like boxes of figures. So like, should I go through them right now and like categorize them by like different set and have like the bags of the figures in different bags in like boxes of like, it's like, how intense do you get for the future growth of a collection, which is kind of crazy.
I don't have a strategy for that. And I put all the Star Wars figures at one time. I put them all in one container. Then you buy more Star Wars sets. If you don't put the new figures in the same container, then they're in different places.
Yeah.
And I wish, like if I wanted to pull out a set to do a comparison, I wouldn't know where the minifigures were on some of these because they're not stored together. So I've gone through and like I started with SpongeBob sets. I went through the whole process of inventorying them. And like it'd just be the weirdest parts that were missing, and then I was missing some of the minifigures. I know I got them, so I made a list on paper of those minifigures that I'm missing, and I'm still looking for some of them. But I was like, I put these in the bags. And then I'll set them aside, and then one day I can rebuild my whole SpongeBob setup if I want to. Like I've been doing it with the Fabuland sets, trying to make sure I got all the parts there. But there's no wrong way. We've talked about that before. No wrong way to do your hobby. I know some people, they build a set, they enjoy it, filters down into their whole collection, and they never see that set again. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I was more of a set collector. I would buy bulk lots and turn them into sets.
Yeah, that's what we are. Like at least Sans and I are like really like that. We like and it's sometimes I think it's hard to admit that because it's so at least antithetical to like modern healthy habits. Do you know what I mean? It's like I like buying stuff, and a lot of the fun of the hobby is buying and collecting these things. I also love building. I also love making content. I also love, honestly, like I love sorting. Like I love it. If I had all the time in the world, I would just sort all day. If like I didn't want to make content, if I didn't want to like, pay my bills, I would sort all day. But like I love it. Like honestly, like I was like, oh man, it'd be so fun to go organize Jaabo's basement. And Sans looks at me, he's like, what? I was like, it'd be so fun. I would just do that all day.
Yeah. So it's one of the things I was watching that. What was the guy y'all had on that lives in Alabama? That's
Martin. Yeah.
Martin. Yes.
He's not a set collector at all. It's not.
So I'm thinking about how organized he is, and how he talked about how it saves time if you're organized. And it's like, I am the antithesis. Is that the right word? I'm the opposite.
Very much so.
It's like I was trying to build the windmill. So that'd be one of the videos in a day or two where I was going through getting all the parts for the windmill. There's just basic parts, and it's taken me forever to get if I just had all my 2x2 bricks together, all my 2x4 bricks, all my plates, if I just had those organized, I could have done it in a matter of minutes. And the video won't even show how long it really took me. It's just like, here's a clip. I found this part, but I'm looking through all these. Where are my doors? Where are my windows? Wait, I need a yellow door. And then, oh, wait, I don't need a yellow door. And so it's like, it takes forever, but the dread of sorting, like I saw Shy's face earlier when you said you love sorting. It's like, it's just, I got to do it. And it would be nice to, if people would do that for me.
If I was your neighbor, I'd be like, hi. Yeah, like,
all the action.
Come help. No, I love it, but it's just like, I don't like, I have like we have a really big collection, like, but in comparison, it's very small. And it's like the amount of money that I have spent on organizational tools so that it looks the same, because it's like what I used to do with like a lot of other projects in my house, I would use like whatever I could, like whatever was free, whatever was at the dollar spot. And I think that is a very good strategy. But I think like the problem with that though is that it's inconsistent.
Yes.
And so, and it makes it very difficult to organize inconsistently shaped things. And then I think what's also really important is investing in the type of containers that, and this is also a gamble, that aren't going to like stop being produced, because you're always going to need more. And I'm a little bit worried about that with like my drawer organizers and stuff that I've gotten. But like, I think like certain like Sterilite or certain brands have been making the same kind of organizational systems for like since, I mean, it's literally the same drawer that like I had in my high school bedroom to my college bedroom to, you know what I mean? Like some of those things, I think there's like, I don't have those right now, but there's like value in something that's consistent. But I've spent a lot of money on drawer organization stuff that it's as though like I'm walking out of the Lego store, like hundreds of dollars each time.
I remember in the early days of YouTube, Brick Queen, she did a video of her collection, her whole collection, and all the different containers. And I remember commenting on her video. I was like, yeah, it's when you start getting a massive collection, you become container collectors in addition to Lego collectors.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah. Like it's like we're supporting the plastic industry in so many different avenues. You know, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So when you see like Tiago or what's the guy that makes all the things that become Lego ideas?
JK Brickworks.
Yeah, JK. Yeah. They got uniform storage solutions. It looks the same. I mean, they could have stuff other places. They just show you this nice uniform area, but it looks nice and inexpensive and uniform. And that's what we want. But yeah, when you see a container for 50 cents at the dollar store, yeah, you buy it, but it doesn't match. I got like 4 different sizes of shoebox containers. I got stack-ons. I got acro mills. I got whatever the stuff Home Depot sells. It's like, yeah, they don't all match.
Yeah, I mean, if you want it to match, it's basically like it's a trade-off. You either like, you know, slow down the Lego buying and like spend a year just like buying new organizational stuff, you know, or buy the Lego. And that's what we did. We slowed down the Lego a lot. because of it. We also just didn't have the space where it like didn't matter. But even though we have like a lot of that uniform stuff here, but it doesn't fit everything. So like the backup of the uniform of like, there's still backup. So it's like everything, like, like the plates look beautiful in there, but I have bins and bins full of other 2x4 plates. So those are just in bags, separated by color, in bins. And then right now those bins are uniform because I needed to buy new bins anyway. But there's going to come a point where those bins are not uniform because I'm going to go back to the Container Store, which is like the most expensive place I could have chosen to buy containers from. And I've never in my life bought them ever from there. But I like justified it for this because I was like, this is my hobby. I'm looking at it every day. I want it to be like white and clear. And I was like, this is like, it's in a room of our house that's like very like prominent. I can't, you know what I mean? And so I did it, but now I'm like, even throwing money at this, it's not like in 10 years, those containers aren't going to exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we never thought Stack-On would have gone out of business.
Yeah, it's like, you never guessed that.
And that was a huge time saver. If you ever see in December of 2012, when I first started posting videos to the BrickTsar channel, I did a video of my BrickLink store. It's dark and it's kind of, I went back and watched the whole video just the other day when I was thinking about where I've come from or where I'm at now with BrickLink, and it's like that was one of the most important videos I ever made for my channel because I got a lot of constructive suggestions on how to do my BrickLink store better. It's like I had stuff in Sterilite containers, bags inside the Sterilite containers, or just any other type of storage solution I could get cheaply. But when I switched to the Stack-Ons, it got so much easier to manage the inventory, putting it away, taking it out. It's just, if you have to move things from one container to another, it just got so much simpler. And I've saved so much time that now, I was like, before we did this video or started filming this video, I parted out a set that had 86 lots, 387 pieces. I did 3 of those. It was like I added 1,100 parts, and it didn't take that long to do. And I went in it about 30 minutes before we started filming and put them all away. It only took me 30 minutes to put all the parts away in 86 lots.
Well, from like an operations perspective, that's like amazing. But I guess from me being like just curious, how is it possible that none of the drawers that you were trying to put these things in weren't too full?
They were.
So
I should have filmed that. I didn't film that. I see. This is like I should have put the GoPro on my head or something. Yeah. It's so much quicker and easier to do things when you're not filming them. Yeah. But I had like 5 of the lots would not fit in the drawer, and I move them. And because everything's close by, I can look. Okay, that is a big drawer. It's got not much in it. I'll take it out and swap it. I'll do a swap, and then I got the boxes that I can't even see. I'll just fill the box. Okay, this one's getting light, and it only takes a matter of a few seconds to do.
No, but hold on. So do you take like some of the parts and like put them away? Like, what do you do with those? Like, what do you mean, like
swap drawers?
Like when you swap drawers, like how do you track that? Do you have like a system?
You use the remarks, and so drawer 3,241. I just changed places with the part that's in drawer 1,670.
Got it. Okay.
And I just change those 2 numbers and make sure I moved it. Now, if I don't do that, now I have moved things, and then the hit enter didn't happen where you save it. And then my wife's picking an order, and she's like, this isn't in the drawer. And then I got to remember what drawer it was in, because I've already erased it, basically. So mistakes can be. So I try to make sure
mistakes are gonna. But as long as the system is in place, and then you just have to follow the system effectively. And honestly, like I think even not having a BrickLink store, that's like still a good way to like strategize. But wait, why are your 1x2s and your 2x2s not near each other? Because you were like, I have to like if my 1x2s weren't organized. Like how do you have this like seemingly functional BrickLink store and then your 1x2s not being easy to find? Like how
they used to be. I used to have the main colors, the red and the white, the blue, yellow, black, and clear. I had those the old colors. I had them sorted by small bricks, 2x2 bricks, 2x3 bricks, 2x4 bricks, big bricks, and then small plates. Like the 1x plates would be in a drawer together, and the 2x plates. And they've kind of, my son would get parts, I would get parts. I used to have the bin that had the large black plates, like the 4x, the 6x. That thing used to be full, and it's like completely empty now because we take those parts to do things. And so the problem is we take the parts out, we take a mock somewhere, they don't get put back.
Yeah.
I got to get better of sitting down and taking things apart and sort them back out.
But then that's less time for you to put stuff together, though. Then that's less projects. That is in itself. Anyway, but we've kind of like gone all over the place with this. But like, no, don't apologize, because I think like the main purpose and what we've been like subtly talking about is like kind of a big goal of mine, at least, is to get organized. And I know that a lot of people today on my live stream, we talked a lot about like what our goals are and goal setting for, the new year, or like whatever this, next phase of our life. And I think a lot of people was to sort their collection and to get their parts sorted, let alone their lives, but mostly their Lego parts, like how do we approach this? And it's like, it's a hobby that needs like work, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's something that can't be ignored. And especially when you collect at the rate that a lot of us do, like Shy, I mean, I've been to your space and it's small, but like, and your city is organized and your shelves behind you are organized, but you have some big bins of just bulk stuff that I know you've had since before I've known you that you have not sorted.
The problem with mine is I do sort. I start sorting. Kids get into the drawers, and then they make everything all messy again. So, like, I'll go through, like right before Thanksgiving. Like, I pull all the drawers out. I clean them all up with, putting the pieces back to where they're supposed to be. And then put them all back. I started labeling them all correctly again. Started getting stuff out of the bin. Started putting them in there. And then the next day, the kids want to build something, and they don't like going through the bulk of Lego.
Nobody does.
No, they want to go through the stuff they can see immediately. So then they go through all of those, and then all the Ezra's pretty good with putting stuff back to where it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
not so much. Like, she like puts everything in weird drawers, and then I look at it, it's like 50 different parts inside one 1x4 container. So like, that's my problem, is that I start getting into an organizational mode. I start the process. I come back the next day, and it's all reversed.
Yeah, that's hard.
That's exactly what happens. So I've had 20 years of that. Where
Great.
They build something, it's on the table, they play with it for a while, or I play with it. I can't blame it all on the kids, but then you have that moment where you're like, okay, this table's in disarray. I got to clean this up. And it's so easy to take that, slide it into a drawer. Yeah. Oh, look how clean it is now.
Sort that later. Yeah.
So that's how my dad obviously is not into Lego at all, but that's how he cleans everything in his house. It's always like I just don't want to see it. But like, if you open any drawer, any closet, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. But like, I'm the opposite. Like, anything that's out and visible is what's a mess. And then you open the drawers and they're immaculate. And so, and because it stressed me out so much growing up in like my parents' house like that. I hated opening drawers and stuff, or like cabinets. My mom, this is going to be like totally like way too much information. My mom like never got rid of food when it needed to be get rid of. And I have eaten so much rotten, stale foods with bugs in it, maggots in it, that I have like, so, and my parents were really good parents. They were not negligent at all. It just like, they were raised, my mom was really poor, really, really poor when she was growing up, and had a really hard time throwing away stuff. And so just FYI, if you keep food too long in the fridge or whatever, your kids will find it.
No, see, leftovers are supposed to make you feel smart twice.
No,
when you put them in there and then when you throw them out. So y'all never did the throwing out part.
Yeah. No, there's and I know actually a lot of my friends had like the same situation and stuff, and it's like, people have a hard time throwing away stuff, and I get it. Like, luckily Sans eats all the leftovers and I hate him, but like, not him, the leftovers, but like, it's something that like that makes me like so I've become so manic about it. It's like, that's how my anxieties have like kind of manifested themselves into like organizing and like not having dirty things because of like whatever happened to me as a child. But like, I just don't, honestly, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I want to have kids. I want to be patient. I don't want to be controlling, but like, oh my God, I'm going to lose it. Like, I need to like manage this now before it's too late.
Don't get me wrong. There are times when I'm like, you guys need to get out like right now. You guys can come in here for the entire day. Like today was one of those days. Like last night, well, actually yesterday's one of those days. Cause last night, like the office was literally destroyed. Like I had like during our live stream last week, the kids were in here and they're awake. And they were literally the LCAC, the giant Brickmania LCAC that was on the ground was cut in half. So, and there were like 4 different Humvees in there and like 2 other Brickmania kits. So they usually don't touch those things, but they had like a little ship battle. I mean, good for them. I didn't like, you know, I can't say no. They're playing with it. It's Lego. So I let them go ham on it. The entire first level of the city was destroyed. They pulled out all the drawers and were building all these mocks. And then like, and then my wife keeps dumping stuff in here that, you know, technically I should be putting away, but they're just in here. So yesterday I just like, get out. I need to literally put everything away. And I spent the entire night last night from like 11 p.m. to like 4 a.m. just putting everything back to where they're supposed to be, putting everything back together. And then the entire day today, I'm like, you guys I just need one day of a clean office. And then tomorrow you can, I guess, go at it again. But it's just one of those things that you just like, it's okay to like tell them, no, let me get this under control. And then they don't understand, but you know, eventually, hopefully, I mean, Jaabo's experience, they do, right?
Oh yeah. And then they admit to stuff that later. So I thought I had them trained not to mess with certain things, but my son admitted to me later, you know, I did actually go get into your BrickLink store some. So that might explain some of the missing parts.
The truth comes out.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. It's like, you know, there's always going to be something that you do that you're not supposed to as a kid, and even like as a teenager and stuff, when you're obviously like old enough and aware enough to theoretically like understand the impact, but obviously your brain is like not fully developed, so the consequences don't really seem comprehensible. But like, even like, honestly, like even like Sans and I have like different like degrees of tolerance of clutter, right? And so like he'll like take a Lego set out and like play with it, and like the stuff that like we got for Christmas, like, you know, he likes to like have it out and enjoy it, and it feels like it's still Christmas, right? To like have it out. And I totally get that. I'm like the same way. But then right now our house looks like a bomb. And I went to dog sit yesterday to like my friend's house, and she's a minimalist. So it was like one extreme to the other. And honestly, like I had a nap in her place with like her dog, who's the cutest thing ever. But it was one of the most restful sleeps I've ever had, because there was nothing in the house. Like they have nothing, you know? And I was like, this is so great. This is amazing. And so I keep thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I want to move into a bigger place. And that's one of our goals for this year, is like actually make the steps to move into a bigger place, whatever that means, either like starting construction on something that we already have, or purchasing something that, you know, for the future. And so, which is like a huge, huge thing to be moving forward with, which we're really excited about. But like, that means like, if I think I need something that's like twice as big, that means I can never buy anything I already have anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I have too much stuff for this, which means which means I have the right amount of stuff for a place twice as big, which means I need a place 6 times as big, is the way that that's how my math works.
Eventually you're going to fill that up too. Knowing you, like you have this constant battle of trying to be a minimalist, but not. Yeah. Like it's
no. I've never wanted to be a minimalist. That's not my desire. What it is like, I don't want to have anything like visually in front of me, which means essentially like if I build a room that's 12 by 12, the room is actually going to be 10 by 10, because it
has drawers and closets, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. No, at first glance, if you were to look at how your room set up, like you have like the aesthetics of minimalism, but controlled. But like, so like, and then you start opening all these drawers and cabinets, and like, holy crap! I have no idea how you fit like 50 stuff.
Here, it's like this is like this is my Jaabo's basement.
Yeah,
and it's like
but that looks organized and controlled.
Yeah, my wife taught me a trick.
Seriously?
Don't tell her I said this, but if somebody invites you over to your house and you go to the bathroom, look in the shower. Sometimes people throw a bunch of things in the shower. They probably were in the living room or somewhere. They're just like, okay, people are coming over. Let's hide it somewhere. And it's amazing how many times that happens. Or it'll be like their laundry is in the shower or something like that.
That's our laundry
like the baskets or something. I've definitely seen that. Or like weird extra pillows and linens that they don't actually have like a space for. That's always there. It's so
That's
funny.
me right now.
Or like kids' toys or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's always there. But yeah.
So I think that's going back to what we were talking about earlier, what Sands was asking me before we started about the chimas. And I've come to the realization I do need to scale down the collection. I have filled up the labyrinth of my basement to the point where it's sapping my time. I don't want to get rid of everything, but I just like stuff I'm never going to get enjoyment out of. I can't have it there just because I wanted the number. Like I wanted to have a large number of different sets. I don't even like Chima.
Yeah.
So why do I have Chima sets?
And not just Chima, but like multiple of a lot of the sets, right? It's like,
because they were on clearance or whatever. And it's like this January 1st, everybody's rushing out to get the new sets. I didn't.
Yeah, same. Well, we got the tiger. That's it.
Oh my God!
So I did place an order because I had, and I probably shouldn't have done this. The camera came back again, the vintage camera. So I was like, I got to buy something. So I had some VIP points that I redeemed. And I ordered the Sonic the Hedgehog set because I collect Lego ideas. But I'm waiting on the modular. I was like, they got to give me something.
I know.
I want Lego to feel like they're giving me something before I buy that.
I mean, we're such suckers, with that. But it doesn't take much, It's like just something a little bit more than like a crappy poly bag, and then you got me. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh, they definitely think you're a sucker.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Did any of you take the Lego VIP questionnaire about a subscription service?
I didn't take it, but I saw people.
I saw it.
They had dozens and dozens and dozens of choices and price levels. It went from $2.99 up to $59.99. I mean, it was like it was crazy. And I clicked no, 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 no. I clicked no on every single. Somebody probably
no is an option. We can say no to all of it.
Yeah, I said no to every. They say this one or this one. I say neither. That's what I did on all of them because I'm not going to pay a subscription. And the talk was like, oh, you can pay $5.99. You can buy a retired set. That means you can buy. To me, that's going to mean you can buy a set that they couldn't sell.
Yeah. Me too. Not like a cafe corner or something like that.
And you still have to pay for it.
I did the Brickmaster Academy or whatever it was. It's like it was kind of like a Lego blind bag thing. It was. What year was that? It was the early 2000s, but it was very expensive for what you got. And I was like, I felt like I was being robbed. And it only lasted a year because I think people probably got their bags. I'm like, I'm paying that for a poly bag. You're sending me a poly bag.
I mean, I'm not down for the subscription service thing. I don't want to pay to have the option of having to have to pay again for something.
I've done a lot of subscription services in the past, and like 99.9% of them I haven't enjoyed in the long term. There's one that I'm part of now that I do like. And then I have liked food ones like cheese and meat deliveries and stuff like that. Those
wine, cheese, that's all good. Video game, I'm all down for.
No, but like cosmetic ones, which I find to have more similar, like to Lego. I don't know why. Like, there's a lot of similarities with like gifts with purchase and stuff that's very common in the cosmetic industry for years and years. They've been doing that for like at least 20 years. Like Clinique started it, Lancome, all that stuff. But there was even like cosmetic ones, like they it's like stuff that they couldn't, that stuff has shelf life. And so they couldn't move it. And so this is how they like moved that product. It was like a way to reduce waste on their end,
They should do it with just parts instead of sets. Because there's some, I've seen some Lego boxes out there, like some subscription boxes. They're actually pretty cool. But it's not like sets or anything. They actually send you parts.
It'd be cool if like, you know, like all the stuff that gets recycled, that like the Lego stores recycle, like all those parts. If like that was
right.
Like, I don't know what that like supply chain process is of like reusing those parts. So however they recycle them, it's like very confusing to me how they do that when they're like dyed and printed and all that stuff. Like I feel like just from a material science perspective and like the reuse of and the fragility of that stuff. But regardless, I think that would be a cool reuse of those parts, you know, but who knows? That's never gonna happen though. That's too much work on their part from an operations perspective.
No, and they're not going to do something too that's going to prevent you from buying stuff. Like if they had an option where like they had to recall or pull back some stuff because there were errors in these boxes, or you know, Kevin Hinkle telling the story about the NBA license when they canceled the license, they literally were just opening the boxes, separating the cardboard from the plastic, recycled, and it's like. People would, I would have taken those, but they couldn't. They had to recycle the plastic, recycle the cardboard, and
nobody could have that. No, there's
nobody can have it
when that license expires. Yeah, but it's like I also like can't blame them for that because it's like when you have a legal tie with like someone else, they can't make that decision on their own. Unfortunately, at that point,
and so a lot of things like that happen.
Yeah,
and you know there was the picture that was being passed around years ago about it was the dumpster. It looked like a dumpster where they were just. It appeared that Lego was just throwing away all this plastic. Like, why don't you give it to poor kids? And it made me think of the Elaine Bennis idea of the muffin top. And they're like, what are we going to do with the muffin bottoms? Let's give them to the homeless. And the homeless people are like, well, why can't we have the muffin tops? So it's like, Lego does give sets to kids. They give them sets. They don't give them the scraps.
Yeah, why? Yeah, exactly. Why do you want kids like that are not privileged to have crappy things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also it goes against it all. So
there's safety issues, there's logistic issues. Yeah. It's just simpler to recycle it.
It is. Yeah, it totally is.
But I would love to get the dumpster full of the I'd like to be have the drive the recycle truck. Yeah, I'll take it.
You just wait, back of your local Lego store and just at 11 o'clock at night when they're done. Just
it's almost like there should be like a club of like fanatics that we like sign away any like kind of like we're not going to sue them for anything. We're not going to like keep them accountable for it. We're not going to call customer service on anything. Like we do not care. Like we're not going to like make like Lego content on it. We are just collectors that absolutely adore it. Like here, I'll sign this thing if I get to have the garbage.
Well, man's trash is another man's treasure, right?
Exactly. Really,
or one person.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be man.
Lego throws away a lot of stuff.
Anybody.
Of course they do. I mean, every company does, but like it makes sense, like how it like, there's so much moving stuff, like what I mean. In there, it makes sense. It's just like for us, it's like heartbreaking when it's like, Ryan was throwing away his spare parts, and like Sans could not handle it, and so it's crazy. But like, and now Ryan, instead of dealing with it because he hasn't been mock building in like a very long time. He doesn't have a parts collection like sorted. So he just saves it and gives it to Sans, and it gives Sans so much joy to get this like giant tab cup full of like 1x1s, and it's like, it's very sweet. It's very thoughtful, but it's also like, he's giving him his garbage in a way.
So at least those are legitimate, actual brand new condition Lego parts.
Right. Yeah.
I've actually kept broken. I have a boneyard of broken parts. I don't even throw away the broken.
So do we. I was throwing them away, but Sans keeps them right now because he's showing me like really cool mocks with like pieces that are because like Lego doesn't make shapes like this. So like I was like, but sometimes I'll like a 1x1 stud or like just like a brown stud will like shred, and sometimes I'll just like throw it away.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can even if you threw those pieces away, I mean, who could blame you?
So when's the next time you guys gonna Lego purge your collections? If you guys ever do that.
I just purged a lot of my promos.
So you sell them, or you break them down?
I sold a bunch that had value on eBay, and then now I need to go through a bunch more that don't have value, like this one, and then part out probably, because I feel like this will be more interesting as parted out into my pieces rather than like taking up precious square footage in like a drawer as like in the box, and yeah, that's like what I'm gonna do. And then like I opened up that drawer or that closet, and there was like stacks of bins. Those are all sets that are organized, and there's like a piece of paper on the top of each of those that like says what sets is in each of the things. Now the thing is that's not organized based on theme. It's just what fit in there as well as possible. I cannot have that. I think I might have that in this house. That's okay, because I don't have enough of one thing to do that, you know what I mean, to like get it, like I don't have enough of one theme to fill it an entire container yet. So anyway, I think I'm going to go through and digitize all that stuff. And so like I have it all in an Excel file, and it says like what container is what, and then number the containers like you do. And then a lot of those boxes that are new in box, I think like I need to either build them now or just take them out and put them in a container and get rid of the box and condense that into, because I can fit probably twice as many sets that were there in plastic bins. Like the ones on the left were all like they've been built and disassembled, and then the ones on the right are just like new in box. And it's just like we just don't have room. We can't buy more Lego, unless we do that.
So you're at max capacity right now?
We are beyond max capacity. Like there's there's two of these bins behind me, like stacked on top of each other, just full of sets.
How much of that collection, aside from merging it together, was from this past year?
Being purchased?
Yeah. Purchased in 2021. Like a third?
I was maxed out before. I was about to be maxed out before Sans moved in. If Sans didn't move in, I would have been fine, to be fair.
But you also have like a secondary location for your Lego right now, right? Some of it?
Not yet. No, not yet. We just had the Christmas sets at my dad's. But it's basically like, okay, so here's like a Sophie's Choice, guys. Okay, so do I unbox those new sets? Some of them are retired. Those new sets, and just like put the bags into bags. You know what I mean? When you just like put that, because it's like the box itself a lot of the time takes up more space. Yeah. Do I like bag them and flat pack them into plastic bins, and keep the collection together? Or do I take new in box stuff to my dad's house, which barely has room, by the way? I need to go and clean out my dad's house. There's like a storage unit that he has like a room at the bottom that I need to like demo and then re-drywall, and I could put up shelves, and then and the space is conditioned, and I could put all my new in box stuff there really beautifully. But that won't be for 3 months from now.
Do you plan on building those sets?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I'm not going to sell them.
I mean, you could take them out. Flatten.
Yeah.
But it takes away that, when you have a box and you open it and the experience, you know what I mean?
Will you experience that when you're putting it?
Exactly. Is it really an experience?
That's a tangible thing. To me it is. And I love like looking at the box while I'm building it and being like, ooh, how did they,
yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
I get that. Like yesterday when I got my purchase, I took the BMW Technic out and I just looked at it as I was editing a video. Like literally, I just put it in front of me and just looked at it. No intention to build it right now or later. I just wanted to look at it. But I will be throwing away the box once it's open. So, but yeah, I understand the experience of just having the item fresh, brand new, clean, right in front of you. But then at that point, then what?
It's hard. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know. And then granted, now the fact that we're going to try to move this year, that adds like another level. So it's like, well, why bother compacting so much? Just live in squalor until then, you
got to know what you have so you can. Yeah.
It sucks right now is that we're already maxed. It's like, what do we do now? And I guess it's like I'm due for a purge. It's time to give some stuff out. Do you guys give your stuff away to your friends, family?
A few, but
a few like poly bags, stuff like that, little things.
Little things, yeah. Like only the ones that like appreciate it, but there's not that many of them. I'd rather I give stuff to our friends in the Lego community beforehand. Also, I'd like to. There's a lot of stuff that I want to keep that I'm not attached to that I want to take to Brick Fair and Brick World to trade.
Garage sale?
Either garage sale or just to trade, as a trade or something.
It's a commodity. It's it's definitely a commodity.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I keep poly bags for trading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I keep the poly bags to give to kids who come in here. Because I don't want them to jack me, honestly, it's because I don't want them to steal anything. So if I'm like, if you're good, I'll give you this. So
I got a lot of nephews and nieces now. Most of them are grown, but now I got grandnephews and grandnieces, and I got some of the Jacob's friends that were a little younger. They're getting older, but yeah, we do give them stuff. I let them build stuff. Sometimes they just want to come over and build something.
Yeah, right. And they don't even want to take it. Yeah,
it's a very uneasy feeling when the kids are over. They're they just want to be in the room. I'm like, why?
Well, because it's just an environment to be around. But it's I guess do you guys are your goals, moving forward purging, or is it rejigging your organization the way you have started to make it fit? Is it? Because that's where I always go to the latter first. It's make it work with what you have, or is it purge? It's
I know with my collect, even though I got a lot of space, the space I know can be utilized better.
Yes. Yeah.
It's if I just had another space where I could kind of sort things out and then put it back in this space. So I got to get into managing the space that I have. But one thing that helps is freeing up a little more space by getting rid of things that you're not going to use, or like you said, taking those boxed sets, because there's some of those sets that are in the big boxes. You could, if you had two of the same set, you could put all of the parts in one box.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of waste, even with the reduction of the box size of Lego sets compared to 10 or 15 years ago, but they're still, it takes up a lot of space. And I do have a lot of sealed boxed sets still in the collection that I have, things that we haven't built yet.
I know if you take it out of the box, I think it can cumulatively you can double the amount of sets, if not more, in that same amount of vertical square footage. And I think that but what's hard is that you can't stack a lot of Lego on top of each other, especially
to crush the box.
Yeah, you can't stack a lot of stuff. So that means investing in shelving. But then the basic thing about organization is you have to have a clear space to bring the things that you're going to be organizing to. And if you can't physically create a clear space, I don't know, maybe sacrifice one of your rooms upstairs into the dumping ground or something like that. No, wait, no. I don't know.
That's not allowed.
Got it. Probably for good reason. Yeah. So it's my dad's place right now, he wants help cleaning it out. And he's I want to start with this area. And every time he always wants to start there, but I'm there's nowhere to put the stuff that's in that area. You have to start in the closets upstairs in the main area to get rid of the stuff there. And then in the back storage, then you can move what you want to keep into the closets upstairs. You know what I mean? It's just
it takes some serious planning to actually do that type of stuff. It's work. It's not easy.
No,
not at all.
I have thought about taking there's a storage facility not far from that, and it's got to be calculated, because I don't want to go put stuff in storage and then that just become another place for Lego.
If you get a storage unit, I don't my world will be upside down.
I know we had to get one a few years back because we put sheetrock up in the basement. And I tried moving everything to one side and it wouldn't all fit. So I said, okay, I'm going to go rent a storage facility. So we rented it for 6 months.
Yeah.
I filled it completely up, the storage facility, and still had to keep stuff. And so when I had a friend of mine that does sheetrock, he'd do one room and then I'd have to move everything over and then they'd do the other room. And that was my best opportunity to get organized, and I didn't do it.
Oh, dang.
That's always a good time when you're forced to move everything out.
Yeah.
You
Put
could
it back in the right
literally you could literally do like a whole year of content with just organizing your basement.
Oh, let me write this down.
Yeah,
That's what
There's
we're
a
gonna
goal
do.
for the year.
Yeah, that's like this is the new fan fiction for the BrickTsar channel.
No, yeah, because like I swear it's like there's definitely got to be like urban legends about what's back in those boxes. It's like because you pull stuff out all the time that's like so cool, and like it's got like shock value, on your channel. You're like, oh, I don't know, like, and then show it, and everyone's like, oh my god, what is that? Where is that?
Does anyone else like when Jaabo moves around the basement, look at the stuff that's not in focus?
Yes,
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, like I look at everything. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
what's that?
same.
Oh, he moved back. Go back that way. Go back that way. What is that?
I do sometimes want to go like I want to film and it's like, do you recognize this part of the basement?
Yeah, no, I'm always.
I'm a lot. I think a lot of people, Claire especially, has tried to draw a map of your basement and has failed miserably.
Yeah.
In my head, not physically. That sounds really creepy. I have not, but like I'm trying to get.
It's the architect.
Trying to get a gauge. No, because in my head I'm like, okay, how much square footage does he have? And he's running out of it. How do I future proof like my collection? Like how much do I need? Like
Yeah, and so we talk all about Lego, but I have a Thomas the Tank Engine collection too. That the comic books, they're in boxes, so they're not out and on display like a lot of people do now. But if I just got rid of all the Lego, I could fill the space up with Thomas the Tank Engine. So.
What do you think you have more of, like in terms of like space that's getting taken?
Oh no, this definitely Lego probably is like if you would just go by volume, it'd be that. But I have a train collection as well.
Do you ever see yourself growing out of either one of the hobbies?
At this point,
no.
Yeah.
No. I was just thinking about this today. So my father-in-law he's really good at model trains, and he built a table in his basement. And he wanted to do models, but he just doesn't have the time, and I don't think he has the energy to do it. I was like, I want to help you. I want you to get your model trains going again. But he still enjoys looking at his stuff, even though he doesn't have an actual model railroad going around. So I mean, trains, it's been my whole life. I can't ever see not being interested in it. And I go to the train shows, it's all a bunch of old guys anyway. And now I'm that old guy.
Nice.
That's so good though. I feel like
goals right there.
Yeah, but it's like, but haven't like trains always been just old guys? Like, or was like, did it used to be young guys? I feel like that's like.
No, it's always been. I think it has always been. And I think the modeling part of it is why. I mean, kids aren't going to be interested in doing that. And I'm like a big.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Cat back there.
There it is.
Hi, Charlie.
So I'm more of a. I'm sorry, Charlie. I'm more of a kid than. I would make the grown men at the train show cringe because I don't get into the details and the seriousness of the collecting and the or the modeling. I love looking at it. I love seeing the realistic things that they can do and how they kit bash buildings and make them look like a building they know. And I just don't have the patience to do it. I enjoy looking at it, but I can mix things up that don't go together, and I can thoroughly enjoy doing that. And that's I like to. That's why it's called Trains Are Fun over there. I just like to have fun.
Do you think there's like a different level of seriousness, or like, do you think you take like maybe one you're more purist about than another?
Yeah. So I'm not a purist with anything, but probably closer to Lego, because Lego, we're like, okay, Lego's a superior brick building product. I mean, Shy did a great video on it. But
I was just going off of your video first.
But it is all about the Lego. Even the other little things that are non-Lego, it's still about Lego. With the trains, it's like it's kind of weird because not weird, but with trains you got different manufacturers, but they have a standard where all their stuff works together, and they don't seem to have the competition. I was looking at Train World up there in New York. They have live streams on Facebook and YouTube, and it's like they'll have all the different manufacturers on there on the same live stream. It's like they get along. I'm like, why can't Lego get along with other people that do a similar thing?
It's really interesting. I agree. It's definitely like unlike a lot of other industries. It's not like if you succeed, we succeed. It's like, you know what I mean? And maybe I don't know. It's definitely, there's like some kind of like fear based behind it. I don't know. That's like at least what it seems like from our perspective. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I see that. Yeah, there's a sense of elitism with the fans, and then a fear from the company.
Yeah.
So it doesn't allow for collaboration, partnership, or a unified goal amongst each other. So I don't foresee that ever changing anytime in the near future. I mean, just based on a couple videos that like a lot of people have posted recently about the subject, like you can definitely see that it's very biased.
Do you think it's because it's like I just don't know how a lot like the train companies and stuff are. I just like don't know how they are relative to Lego, but in terms of like patents and stuff like that and like competition, like is it other companies have the same like limitations when it comes to that? Like, are they as dependent on it? Like,
well, they may have. I haven't gone into the history of it, but I'm pretty sure like in the early days of model trains, there was a lot of copyright infringement or trademark infringement, like putting Union Pacific or Santa Fe on the side of your train. Did you get the rights to do that? So I think they're more conscious now of making sure, but if you're modeling a company that's out of business, so I don't know what the statute what do you call it when the patents run out, like Lego
or whatever, basically the equivalent to or whatever.
And so I don't know if the same applies with like trademarks. If a railroad doesn't exist anymore, I guess you can put it on there unless another, like Norfolk Southern bought up a bunch of they acquired all the smaller railroads, and they'll do heritage units that have like the old colors. Wait, that's not the right term. I'm going to get fired. What do they call it? The paint work on there's a term for it. This is why I make model railroad enthusiasts cringe, because I can never remember the simple thing. I call it the paint scheme.
Like the color palette, or
yeah. So, what was my point? It's like so, and then you get a lot of these companies are started by individuals. Like one guy, he finally he got out of it recently, and he made really highly detailed models and then started mass producing them. And it's like, so you get a lot of small companies like that, and then sometimes they're just like railroads. They're just like real railroads. These smaller companies will get bought up by the bigger ones, and some of them have products that are good, and some of them products not so good. But the one thing that they always want is that will your train run on the track? So they did a standard, National Model Railroader Association standard, that's like for making modules that connect together, and that's all kinds of other things where it's just there's a lot of more competition out there, and that makes the good companies better. Whereas Lego's good quality, but there is no marketplace for buying mega constructs aftermarket. There's no competition. There's nothing to hold Lego accountable.
Nothing.
Other than they're they're really a monopoly with brick companies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's both. That's a double-edged sword for them.
Think of like what would they do if they collabed with anyone?
I think in terms of outside of brick companies is what I think of. So they've done a few collabs with other companies, but whether it be another toy manufacturer, like Mega Constructs did a collab with Barbie,
right?
But Mattel or Hasbro and Lego is not going to collab with Hasbro or Mattel, and that's the two. Those are the obvious ones. It's like, so Hot Wheels and Mega Constructs did a collab. I mean, I think it would have been better if it had been Lego.
Of course, I agree with that.
Because Hot Wheels is they're extremely popular. The things I see people looking at the store are the Hot Wheels, the action figures, and the Lego.
At least there's consistency between niches of the Lego fandom. As far as like, because I was thinking about this, I just didn't want to like forget saying it before saying it. Like, at least in the train community, you guys all build in 1/48 scale, right? For the most part.
HO scale, 1/87, I think.
Is that what it is? I don't know. I know military is 1/35 scale. It's always consistent. So, Lego themselves are not consistent.
They don't have a scale.
They don't have a scale.
It's like when we got the minifigure. So, as a kid, I'm like, how is this guy going to fit in this car? It's like they didn't even when they introduced the minifigure, they didn't give any consideration of changing the size of the vehicles. It took them a while.
Yeah, I mean, but in defense of Lego, I think that it would have its own. I think they have so many other restrictions that it will be hard to keep a scale.
Yeah,
price points,
that's
bricks,
true.
Building, like all that kind of stuff. They have so many other rules that they need to abide by.
Okay, that made me think of the biggest thing that they could have done that wouldn't have affected their bottom line, that might have actually helped it, is when they came up with the train theme in 1966. If they just made it the rails the same width as one of the other things, and there's two that are close. One is Lionel trains, which is O scale, and the other is G scale or garden railroads. If they made the rails that size, you know who did? Mega Constructs, but they don't do anything. You know who did? Playmobil. They made their trains will run on tracks, and I think if Lego had done that, the train theme would have been even better.
Yeah, for sure.
That would have been really cool.
And they'll never change the size. They'll keep it the same. But which is good. All the Lego trains from 1966 to today will all run on the same track.
You know what's a goal for me?
Yes.
I have a train in my city.
How are you going to do that with the show?
I can't.
I hear so many people wanting that, but they, you know what they all say? It takes up too much space.
I was gonna do like a Chicago or so, like a raised plat like thing, but it won't. It's not. I don't know if I can. I could. Anyways,
this is where. So the Brick Model Railroader guys did the standard. They tried to incorporate some of the model train ideas in for taking things to a show, because a lot of shows we're just bringing whatever mock we got, but it's about connecting your mock. So if you don't have room for a train, you can make a module that you would fit in your display space at your home, but then when you take it to a train show, you can connect it with or Lego show or Lego convention. You can connect it with other people, and then you can have trains go through your city at a show.
That would be so cool.
That's interesting. Well, Great Balls does that, right?
Yeah.
That's Great Ball.
It's just a train with TBC, basically.
That's cool.
So it's like Tennessee Valley Lego Train Club. They had a standard that they made for them, but said their trains would not work with the other standard. So what they were trying to do is get a standard where all the clubs if everybody did it, then you could go to any show and connect your module to somebody else.
Right. That makes sense. Ninja, do you have a goal this year?
Always to do better. I don't know.
There you go.
That's my goal forever.
So I think we should leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. Do better. Do
better, Lego and everybody else.
Yeah, everybody.
So
you can always do better.
Yeah,
even if you're at your best.
It's a new year. I know Jaabo, like before we started, it's like you don't really make like new year, new me type of things, but you do set goals. We all individually have something to throw out there, and for myself, it's obtainable, and I hope everyone else's out there is too, because it doesn't help you when you throw out a goal that's unachievable.
Yeah,
so
no.
Be realistic.
Looks like my goal is to write down my goal.
Boom. Start somewhere.
Jaabo, thank you again for coming on the first episode of the year. We appreciate you so much and have so much respect for you as a icon amongst the community, even though Lego doesn't think so. Don't worry, I got you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me ideas. And now I know what I'm going to do this year.
See,
that was all clear.
Or just organize the room and you could live stream it. You could. There's so many things.
Document it.
There you go. That's the word.
Just put on that GoPro and just record.
Yeah.
Even if you have to switch a drawer.
Yeah.
Get like a chest cam, a head cam. You know what I mean? Like, or just like outfit every corner with like different cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be cool to have like security cameras that you use to record. Just put them everywhere and watch yourself move around. That'll give a lot of people an idea of your space.
Yeah. So give a challenge to the community. Map out my space.
I know, right? That would be hilarious. I feel like
do a mock of that.
A Jaabo's basement.
Dude, make a mock of my basement. All you gotta do is throw a bunch of Lego pieces, build a wall, and then throw a bunch of Lego pieces inside it. Done.
The next challenge.
I just got a visual of that in my head of how that might possibly look. Of a diorama of Jaabo's basement. I hope someone does that. Like, honestly, I hope someone does.
I thought about that for a while. I really wanted to do like an actual tiny tower, but in real form of like everyone's like studio, like filming space, like the typical thing. I thought that'd be really fun. I still have that as like an idea,
Do it. Do it, Claire.
Everyone has their like iconographic thing, I would even use this like where Sans used to be like in his basement, so I think it'd be really fun.
Do it. Jaabo should be your like the piece at the end.
That's like the culmination.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's just like Charlie on a table.
Oh my God. All right. Well, that's a goal. Ninja, you want to roll us out?
2 whoop salutes everyone for making it this far. And
do better.
Yeah, right. Do better. And roll that music.
All right, guys. Peace.
Yeah, I'm still working on the kipper trucks anyway. So.
What's the
corner of the market on that?
Yeah, what's like the long-term goal here?
Okay, so we're not recording. Okay.